Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Thursday Night Live with me, Malka Neustatter, marriage coach. While I'm waiting for some more people to hopefully join, I'll give you a super quick recap of the last live. Last week we talked about two main subjects. One was being tired, feeling like I don't have energy to do things together with my partner, and what we can do about that. And the second subject was date nights. Are they required? Are they optional? What if one of us likes them and the other one doesn't? What can we do about that? So we talked a lot about that. This week, my subject is criticism, how to manage a critical spouse, partner. If this subject is something that comes up often or often enough to bug you in your life, then please check out a number of different posts I wrote about it from different angles this past week, and I hope that you will find them informative and helpful. And let's jump right in. So a lot of women, I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to speak in the feminine voice because I'm a woman. It's my lived experience, and most of my clients are women. It does also apply equally to men. Okay, so men, husbands, this is not only about women, it's also about you. The strategy and the process is the same for both. So a lot of women get, my husband is very critical of how I am with the kids, specifically, interestingly enough, around food, right? You're too strict or you're too loose. You give too many snacks. You don't give enough snacks. How come you don't let them have dessert if they didn't finish their food? A lot of struggle and a lot of criticism around from him around how she handles kids and food. Usually it's about the mom being too strict and the father wishing she would be less strict. Interestingly enough, in housekeeping, it tends to sometimes be the opposite. He doesn't understand why she doesn't do more of a particular kind of housekeeping that he feels is important. Okay, and so what do? He thinks you do too much of this and not enough of that. How do you manage that in an effective way? One of the most interesting things that women will say is, well, I don't know why he's so critical. I'm not critical of him. I take him the way he is. Like, why does he pick on me? I don't pick on him. Like, I deserve better. I want to say that it's highly unusual, in my experience, that really only one partner is critical of the other. What's important to understand is that criticism is not only what we say. It's not just about the words we use. I don't like what you're doing. You're not good at this. You do too much of this. You do too little of that. That's not the only way to criticize. It's one way. It's a common way. It's not something we like to hear, but sometimes criticism is just what we think or how we feel. It's really not, it's not only about words. So one of the things I want to suggest is that if you feel that you're being picked on or criticized or found lacking in some way, think just by yourself, okay? This is not something I would necessarily recommend as a dialogue. Find some quiet time with yourself. You may already know I'm a big fan of using a notebook or a journal or some way of writing things down. It's very focusing, it's very calming, and it's something I can refer to later to help myself create order in my thoughts. Ask yourself, are there places in which I find my partner lacking? That I feel that he is not good enough, doesn't measure up, is too much of something, is not enough of something. If I'm thinking that, even if I've never said it, that's criticism. Now, I'm not saying that criticism is immoral or illegal or you're not allowed to do it. What I'm saying is that criticism hurts, okay? Ask yourself, how do I feel when I am the subject of the criticism? I've yet to meet a human being who says, oh yeah, that was a great growth opportunity. No, feeling criticized sucks. Nobody likes it. We feel hurt. And the natural response to feeling hurt is, first of all, being defensive. When I feel hurt, I'm not usually open to listening. I usually feel like I need to stick up for myself, protect myself. And if I feel that I've been hurt enough times in this way, then I may also feel vindictive. You can't speak to me that way. You can't treat me like that. I'll show you. And things can spiral downwards very quickly and really become very unpleasant. So it's not so much that it's wrong to criticize as that it's very, very ineffective way to get people to change. So think about whether you have unspoken criticism of your partner. Think about how it feels when you experience criticism from your partner. And now let's talk about what we can do and not just we might want to not do. What we can do is what I call being the partner you want to have. If you don't like the way something feels, don't do that to your partner. So if you are thinking or feeling or speaking critical words, thoughts, feelings about your partner, stop it. Just stop. Now, I know if somebody told me that, and when I tell other people that, the natural response is going to be, oh, how can I do that? Oh, I'm just going to let them get away with it? You're not letting anybody get away with anything. It just is the way it is. Okay? What you're doing is not fanning the flames. What you're doing is not pouring kerosene or fanning the fire to make it go higher. You're just letting the situation be. He said this, and I'm not going to respond with whatever I've been responding until now. I'm going to let it go. Not because it's okay, not because I like it, but because I want to create change, positive change in my relationship. And the way we do that is, first of all, by stopping doing the things that don't help. Just not doing them anymore. And when I do that, I create a space that didn't used to be there before. It used to be, he said this, I said that. He did this, I did that. Bang, 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 bang. You can be the one to make that stop by just taking a deep breath and holding it in and not saying the things. Now, I said before, it's not only about what you say, it's also about what you think and feel. Great. You can use a journal or a notebook or, of course, coaching or therapy, if that's what you prefer, as a space to where you can work out your thoughts and feelings over a certain amount of time. I'm not suggesting keeping it all inside. I'm suggesting, first of all, not responding immediately, creating a space. Okay? In that space, a lot of magical, beautiful things can happen, one step at a time. I think that's enough for tonight. Quick recap. My subject for tonight was criticism. A lot of spouses experience criticism in their marriage. Interestingly enough, a lot of it is either around housekeeping or how we raise our kids. There is help. I mean, it is possible to get out of all those struggles. There are ways to do it. It's really important, I think, for people to understand that I have not yet seen a situation where criticism was all on one side. What happens is sometimes on one side, I'm speaking about it a lot and I'm saying critical things when the other partner is just thinking them or feeling them. But you know how your partner feels and what his energy is and what he thinks about you without them saying it. Okay, so there's a lot of unspoken communication between partners, and if some of that communication is critical, then we know it. And feeling criticized is usually the last thing that motivates us or inspires us or stimulates us to change. The opposite reaction is usually what happens. We feel defensive and sometimes even, I'll show you, like vindictive, and we want to punish them for hurting our feelings. That's not a really good dynamic for married people to be in. So think about how you feel when you feel criticized and try not to do that to your partner. Be the partner that you want to have. And understand that when you choose not to respond, you are creating some new energy. That pause that you've created where they do something and you don't immediately do the thing you're used to doing is actually a meaningful change in your relationship with your partner. And it's a first really big important step. I won't say it's the whole process, but a lot of good things can happen when you decide to not engage in that cycle of criticism and hurt anymore. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to send me any questions you would like me to address next week. Have a great weekend and Shabbat Shalom.